Hello, I'm Hansa Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I think the uniqueness of the Reggae Girls is they embody the national motto of Jamaica, which is out of many one people. So when you look at the entirety of the Jamaica squad, you have dark-skinned girls, mixed-race girls, girls who have black and Asian in them. You also have the homegrown players, so like your Bunny Shaw, your Konya Plummer, your Den Blackwood. So what that means in terms of from a grassroots perspective is girls who are born in Jamaica can look at a Bunny Shaw and hear that authentic accent and say, you know, if Bunny can make it, then so can I. Once you hear that authenticity, that raw Jamaican accent, they should be able to look at a Bunny Shaw who's now a captain to say, if Bunny can do it, especially if you come from the same community, the same parish as her, if she can do it, then so can we.
I want to give a big bless up to the Reggae girls out there. They ain't believe in us. John did. Reggae girls, keep winning, keep inspiring. I know you're going to be great out there, World Cup. Sadella Marley, nothing but love. Bless up from DJ Khaled.
And I'm represent for the Reggae girls. You know what I mean? Big up on yourself every time. Especially if you're qualifying for the World Cup back to back. You know what I mean? Sadella, big up yourself. One love every time. You know the thing go. Blessing off a flow like a river. Blessing off a flow like a river. What the Reggae girls do? Left them name night earth like a queen. Me have to big up the top soccer team. You know Massacre represent. Jamaica support you every time. You know the thing go.
Hello, I'm Hansa Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I feel like I'm from UK, you know.
See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Talawa TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Ocean of the Messenger, and you're watching Talawa TV with the host and best Davis. Take it away.
My Talawers, how are you all? Good afternoon, good evening, possibly good morning. All depends on where you are in the world. Welcome back to another live stream. Mr. Reiss Nelson, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the latest regarding Reiss Nelson. In case you haven't, let's go ahead and give you an update. Marcus Silva revealed in his Friday press conference that Reiss Nelson could be out for the remainder of the season in a cruel twist as the on-loan winger closed in on a return to first-team football. He suffered another hamstring injury in his other leg as issue that required surgery last week. And hearing from the gaffer, he said, it's a really tough moment for us. Of course, first of all, for the player, we feel really sorry for him because he worked really hard to get back after the first hamstring injury. It was a moment that we all were excited about him coming back because he was really important for us before the injury last December. He did so well, and we know that his best level is capable to help us win football matches and be stronger. So Reiss Nelson, how you feeling about that update there?
So that update is not good for him, and it's not good for Fulham that signed him. I never knew he have a during the whole time at Arsenal, he was so much on the bench. I didn't even know he have an injury problem. So this is a big blow for him. He get a chance to revive his career, to make himself up, and this come and happen to him. And you know my stance when it comes to say him playing for the Reggae Boys. Until I hear that come out of his mouth or I see him on the bench, I'm not gonna go there. You know what I'm saying? With the potential on Reggae Boy stuff. I'm done with all that. Until I see somebody on the bench or I come out of their mouth publicly, I want to play for the Reggae Boys. My documents is not being ready. No, nothing from me. But his injury is bad timing. I wish him all the best because as you know, he was at Arsenal on the bench, right? Barely getting on game, Arteta re-sign him. And I know if you're gonna re-sign somebody, you got to give them a promise that yeah, I'm gonna play you, right? Because I'm not gonna be dumb to just go ahead and sign, not knowing that I'm not gonna get no freaking play time. So he must have promised him something, right? So for him not to get that much playing time with Arsenal last year and make this transition over and then have this injury, it's bad for him. It's really bad for him. You know what I mean? It's bad.
Okay, so Reiss Nelson, when I was like trying to put I know me and you, we share, I don't know what the heck is going on with my screen.
I don't know. I could touch something.
No, we share similar opinions when it comes to how we want things to be done. But this latest, let me just remove that headline there so I can go ahead and read what Reiss posted after his surgery. You can see their thumbs up in the hospital bed. He says, life and football are all about setbacks and comebacks. This one hurts, but it's just part of the journey. Surgery went well. I'm focused and determined to return stronger than ever. And of course, we wish him all the best on his injury comeback. But again, I know how you feel about certain situations, but could this one, looking at the fact that, of course, he is aside from us, he's obviously eligible to represent England. We know that Thomas Tuchel is set to announce his first ever squad for England's pending fixtures, upcoming fixtures. In terms of England's talent pool, it does run quite deep. Is it fair to say that given the circumstances, stop-start, of course, England are going to be looking at, preparing themselves for the World Cup, next year's FIFA Men's World Cup. They're going to want to go as far as they can, so they're going to want to build a squad that's capable of helping them to do so. Do you think by now a bit of a reality check is probably kicking in for a Reiss Nelson to say, look, when you look at things, it's not looking promising where England is concerned, and perhaps he needs to commit himself or consider committing himself for Jamaica? And if that's the case, could you potentially look at this injury as a blessing in disguise?
And I'm gonna go one more time again and tell you, I am not gonna sing that song until I hear it comes on from these players. I see your point, but what this coach is gonna do, like the previous coaches, try to cup tie as much players as possible and don't use them again, right? And if they don't see this stuff, that's what England is doing.
I don't think, the thing is, again, this is why I gave you the context. I don't think Reiss Nelson, unless a miracle happens, because remember, the Men's World Cup is next year. We're in 2025. Again, Thomas Tuchel is the new head coach. He has to get the ball running. I don't think there is a period of a window where Reiss Nelson, again, unless a miracle happens and he bounces back. Because remember, this is a second injury for him, right? I don't think he has that window of opportunity to leapfrog those players who are ahead of him to say, I'm going to be playing in the England World Cup qualifiers.
But this is what I get you, but this is what I'm saying to you again, right? There's several other players. This is the last cycle. They're 26, right? And if they don't make this World Cup, right? The next World Cup, they're going to be 30, right? And there's not just him. There's a plenty more player in his position that can play for us or England, right? But they're still holding on. And I'm saying that if they don't get the chance to do this World Cup now, right? They're going to be 30. Their day is done. What I'm saying to you now, there's two things I'm saying to you. One, if these players don't come out and say publicly, I want to play for Jamaica, right? I get your point that he should say, right? The next World Cup, I'm going to be going on 29. If I don't make it now, England is not, and plus I is injured, the World Cup is in so time, I'm not going to make it. I get your point in that. It's now for them to declare that I want to commit my future to somewhere else, right? If they don't publicly do that and still holding on, maybe I can heal and the coach will see me, I am not singing that song.
No, but I think you're probably looking at this from a completely different perspective. First of all, like, players very rarely publicly say that they want to commit to a country unless asked. So unless they're asked in an interview, do you want to play for a Jamaica or a Nigeria? It's very uncommon to see a player publicly say they want to play for a certain country unless it's in an interview. A bit like the interview that I did with Mason Holgate several years back, where he said, he'd be keen to have a conversation with the JFF. So again, I don't really think it's the same topic of conversation that we have in mind. Like, I get where you're coming from, that you don't want to cheer for someone until they're in their country's college. But
in fairness to Crystal, I think he has opportunity to do that, because he was in Jamaica early last year. He was in Jamaica early last year when he was in the jersey and he was doing, and we thought the coach was going to name him in the squad. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember. Before he named the Copa squad, he was down in the jersey and he was doing the most, and everybody was like, they thought that him and the other guy, because they say even him have Jamaican background. Jesus, Arsenal guy too. I think he left Arsenal too.
Emil Smith Rowe.
No, geez, just on my name right now. And so, Louis Smith Rowe.
Emil
Smith Rowe. They say he have Jamaican background. And I'm saying at that time, he was in Jamaica on vacation and going to party with Leon Bailey and all that, right? I'm saying, and everybody was looking for him to be named in the squad, right?
But could he have been named
to you is this though? Huh?
Could he have been named in the squad?
But that's the thing, we don't know, because there was before that he came out and say, I'm Jamaican. My mother is Jamaican. He was giving us hints coming up to it.
That's what I'm saying. You can't necessarily judge him based on that. What if he didn't have everything that he needed to set in place for him to play for Jamaica? That's what I'm saying. Just because he isn't draped in the national colors now to take to the field of play and have all the right documentation in order doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't want to play for Jamaica. I think
that's my point, Crystal. I am not saying no. My point to you is it goes for everybody else until I hear their mouth.
No, I think you're talking about a completely different subject. I'm saying to you, is Reiss Nelson's current injury a blessing in disguise for us? Do you think that this could offer us a window of opportunity where he will just commit to Jamaica? In your eyes, fully commit to Jamaica?
Okay, if you put it that way, then yes. If you put it that way, then yes. It's a chance for us to grab him. And so, because he will realize that his England chances are dim, and so if you put it that way, yes, I put it that way. But I'm gonna say this to you: this new coach is gonna want to cap as many players before and throw them away, because he's gonna want to try this thing, right? And he's gonna cap a bunch of players that could play for us, and don't use them again.
No, I disagree with you. I think, again, I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying. The new England head coach does not have time to just be capping players for the sake of capping players to be petty. Like, first of all, we're dealing with a German here. He doesn't have time for that. He's coming in and he has to hit the ground running. He has to get those World Cup qualifiers under his belt, and he has to prepare a team that can qualify, that can not only qualify for the World Cup, but also go to the latter stages of the World Cup and potentially win the World Cup. He's looking at the first we're looking at group stage match day 1 of 10. They're going to be playing Albania, and that is the 21st of March, so next month. Then they have Latvia. You can see the run of fixtures that they have in front of them. Andorra.
Did they play some games already?
No. So they've got Andorra. They've got Senegal as a friendly. They got Andorra again. They've got Serbia. They got Wales as a friendly. So again, he doesn't have the time on his hands to go ahead and just unnecessarily cap players. And no disrespect to Nelson for the caliber of what they're looking forward to in terms of that pecking order. I don't think he's going to go out his way and say, let me go and spite Jamaica. The FA might have that mentality, but Thomas Tuchel don't have that time on his hand to say, I'm going to unnecessarily cap Reiss Nelson so Jamaica don't have him.
So let me ask you this then, Crystal, let me ask you this, right? Reiss Nelson wasn't starting for Arsenal, right? And most of these coaches, right, they're gonna go for starters. And in his position, England have at least 3 and 3, at least 6 persons ahead of him, right? And he realized that he's not starting for Arsenal, and that would be a chance to get him picked, right? So one, right there, and I know, I'm not sure, I could probably say that some coach probably from Jamaica probably, you know, talk to him, I don't know. But when he came out and say all this stuff, right, he should have realized that, you know what, my prospect is them, but you can't blame him for holding out for England. And I have no problem with that, right? But to your point, yes, if a fit Reiss Nelson right now, say he gets back. And how old is he right now? 24, 25?
He's 25.
Yes. If he doesn't make it 25, 29, the Euro is going to be in when, blah, blah, blah. He's done the pecking order. He has to come back and get healthy and all that now. How long would you give him when he come back from his injury to make a decision?
I think you have to be fair to him. I think you have to realize, you have to think about the well-being aspect of this situation as well. He's not playing. Whether he harbors or harbored a desire of wanting to play for England, no one can knock him because that is his country of birth. Maybe the fact that he's got, you know, another injury to deal with and he needs to recover. Not only does he have to think about his international career, and maybe the curtain has closed on one particular country as opposed to the other, and that probably hurts to a degree. And you have to look at the human element of that. It is going to hurt because that is still his country of birth at the end of the day. That doesn't mean,
I said that. You can't blame me if you want to play for England. I have no beef with that.
That doesn't mean
them that respect.
That doesn't that doesn't mean he loves Jamaica less or doesn't respect Jamaica. It's just not he would have grown up wanting to play for England, right? That's what he sees on the TV screens and so on. His heroes are probably couple players who have played for England, couple legends who have played for England. So the reality check has definitely probably reined in on him in terms of him just that curtain has now been closed and it's not going to be reopened. And before he can even think about Jamaica fully, and that's not to say that he doesn't want to play for us, he has to also look at his club career because he's on loan. Loan.
Say he heals up next year, end of this year, he's playing good football, and he make a decision, right? 26, 27, right? He probably have a Gold Cup in him, probably have a World Cup in him, right? And that's a situation where you have to give him a chance to make that. But you're right. It could be a blessing in this guys for us, right? And then get me wrong, I'm not no player for making that decision. We cannot make a decision for anybody, right? And we can't, hey, when you don't want to come, you don't know. They would tell you. I respect a player that tells you,
I think
I'm
you're right.
holding out for this, right?
You know,
because I'm a die-hearted Reggae Boy fan, right?
You said something earlier on. I don't know if you could like backtrack or remind me. You said something about the England. Oh yeah, England purposely capping. I think we also have to remind ourselves that there were a time where clubs in England would like put that in their contract that you can only play for England. You see?
Oh, that I didn't know. That was probably back then, but I didn't know that.
Exactly.
I didn't know that.
Who's to say that that's not part of the contract now or something that the agents are whispering?
I don't think they can do that. I don't think FIFA will let them do that now. But here's the deal now. One thing maybe you touched on the other day, these agents are looking for themselves. They're like, you know, if you sign for Jamaica, your value go down, blah, 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 right? If you sign for England, you have a better chance. And what they're looking at is when it comes to transfer. And there is he played for England under 20. He played for it gives the agent more money in their pocket, right? So it's a lot of factors that go. But I'm not blaming any player for making a decision. And no one here should be pulling them down and running behind them and chasing them and call them names. 100%. My point is that I'm saying I will only get excited when I see you come out and say publicly, or I see you on the sideline in your jersey, right? I still won't have nothing against it. But back to the point that you're saying, I do respect. I do get your point. And who knows? This could be a blessing in disguise for us. He could come back fit next year. You know what I'm saying? And just decide to look, I'm gonna go straight reggae boy, and that could be a blessing. That could be a blessing. But I would never hold it against anybody because they hold out to play for England. Never. That was wrong of me. Wrong.
No, I think you probably just, that's why I kept on like repeating it, because I was just like, I don't think you're like, I'm getting through to you, sir. It's completely understandable. Sometimes things need to be repeated for us to like, for it to register in our heads. So that's fine. Big up yourself, Eddie Guna. Happy New Year to yourself. I hope you have a prosperous new year. Big up yourself, Brian Mighty. And also Chemo's in the comment section. Big up yourself, Chemo. If you're watching over on the Reggae Boys and Girls Supporters Club, do kindly go ahead and hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button if you are new to the platform. We're almost closed off on the show. I still do want to hear from some of you in the comment section. What policy would you introduce to the JFF? I'm saying a no bleaching policy. And you're probably wondering, why are we asking about that? Well, it's to do with the New York Yankees. They made an announcement earlier on in the day where they have basically reversed on a policy that is dating back to over 4 decades, so 14, almost 5 decades, 49 years prior to today. They had a policy which basically meant that their players had to be clean shaven. And that policy is now no more. They can have a beard as long as it is well groomed. So what policies would you introduce to the JFF? I'm saying no bleaching. And you know how it goes. Until next time, take care.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.